yonder on the moon. Yeah, you got me, A24, you got me. The Lighthouse is directed by Robert Eggers and stars Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, the Batman. This movie takes place in the 1890s where two lighthouse keepers are going about their duties on this very, very unsettling remote island and also partaking in a lot of other stuff. I'm just assuming you haven't seen the trailer. Even if you have, I'm gonna assume you haven't. Just to keep it very, very, very vague. And it wouldn't matter anyway. Because I don't know what the hell's going on in this movie. And that's the good kind of confusion that I'm talking about. The kind of confusion where you and your friends, after seeing this movie, walk out and just start discussing all the interpretations, all the theories. It's that kind of movie. Now this is my favorite looking film of 2019. And this is a year where Toy Story 4, Endgame, Joker, Ad Astra, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out. Like, that is saying something. Everything from just the 35mm graininess and the aspect ratio, which is 1.191. So, takes up like this much of the screen. And I forgot about that when going into the movie. I remember sitting back in the chair and seeing huge black borders, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I'm almost certain that decision was made not to be different or artsy or whatever. It's to evoke the time that this movie took place in. You know what? That's a genius move in my opinion. Genius. When watching a movie as amazingly shot as this is, with shots that are just, they look like paintings almost, I always look for shots that could be put on the DVD cover or the Blu-ray cover or the 4K cover. So these are shots like in First Man with the moon coming through the trees and the two men walking down the street, or Thanos standing by the edge of the Asgardian ship in Infinity War, in the opening. In this movie, there's like 10 of those shots. Probably even more. Definitely even more. I could just see when I took the movie off my shelf, there's that shot. You know what I'm saying? It's the best looking film of 2019. And it probably won't be surpassed. I'm saying it now. It probably will not be surpassed. And that feeling that sticks with you throughout the movie. The atmosphere is, I can't even describe it. It's just aloneness, unsettlement, dread, maybe even comfort sometimes. It's the kind of tone and atmosphere that just locks you in and immerses you fully, which is, it's just unbelievable. You feel like you're on this remote island. I know that's probably going to be said by everybody, but, well, it's true. And there's this sound that is very, very frequently played. It emits hopelessness. So I thought that was a very genius move to keep having this sound play, especially in moments where things are not necessarily going wrong, but it's like a calm before the storm kind of thing, or something bad has just happened, and then this sound plays to let you know that this ain't stopping anytime soon. The hopelessness will continue. And of course, where would this movie be without the music, the score? A huge contributing factor, of course, to the unsettling feeling throughout this entire movie. Mark Corvin is the composer for this one. He also did stuff for The Witch, Eggers' last movie. and for that 1997 movie The Cube, which I have yet to watch. You guys remember that one? It's kind of a ask your parents kind of thing. This man must have gone to that remote island, stayed there for about 2 months, drove himself friggin' crazy, and just started writing down music notes. Because this score is out of its own mind. But it's awesome because it perfectly captures what it's supposed to sound like. It's like Interstellar soundtrack. It's perfect. And this is perfect. The music is really, really loud and really startling. I remember I was sitting back in my seat and nothing crazy was happening on screen. It was just, a shot of the water. And this giant horn would start playing and I was like nothing was happening. It's just the music really, really got to me. I could just imagine being part of that orchestra and laying in bed late at night and hearing all those creepy music swells and stuff. Oh man. There's something weird about this movie that I was watching it and I was like, I know I've experienced this before. This is a movie, when I buy it, I'm gonna have to watch many times over and just take down notes and draw out timelines and put the tack and the string boards together, whatever it is, because there's so many scenes that are not touched on again in the movie that are so important feeling and so, instrumental to how you actually perceive the movie that it was such a weird experience. There are many scenes that could just be a short film on their own and are just never touched on again. I could disagree with what I'm saying when I watch the movie again, but this time I'm baffled by how almost disconnected this movie seems from its different acts, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I just watched this once. I haven't seen the full genius of what Eggers is trying to do here. So just from that first raw viewing, that's just how I perceive the movie. People probably won't have that kind of experience though, and if you did, well, hey, you're not alone, I guess. If you search this movie genre up on Google, it'll say drama thriller. But people are also saying that this is 2019's craziest horror movie. And I can pretty much agree with everybody, because near the end, I was scared. Yeah. This is the most frightened I've been in a movie from 2019. I've watched It Chapter 2. I've watched Us. This scared me. I'm serious. I was sitting in my seat and I was like, oh God. And I looked over at my two friends and they were sitting there stone faced. I'm like, Are you guys not seeing the same thing I'm seeing right now? This movie is pure madness. And you know what really sells the madness the most? The performances. I'm finally getting to those performances because ding 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 Oscar season and ding 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 this deserves to be on there. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. They're so good! God! They're so good! The swells of anger and despair and joy and solemnness, it's off the charts. It really is. I can only imagine how long these two actors rehearsed and perfected these roles for, because it comes so naturally, it seems. There's nothing unconvincing about them. They never break character for a second. It's off the charts. And as another added bonus for moi, when watching Robert Pattinson act, I almost gained a near sense of euphoria, because this is maybe one of the most... it is one of the most satisfying performances ever. Because I'm ashamed to say I've only seen him in Harry Potter, which was good, and then the flip side of that, Twilight, which was horrible. I had to sit through all of those movies with my cousins for a while ago. I still haven't gotten over it. And watching him and Kristen Stewart, I hated them. I was like, these people are going nowhere, and I hate them so much. So you can see where I'm getting here. Once I watched Personal Shopper and American Ultra with Kristen Stewart, I was like, she is redeemed. When I watched this movie, Robert Pattinson is redeemed. Seeing actresses and actors give fairly bad performances in bottom-of-the-barrel movies and then turn around and give Oscar-worthy performances, it's one of my favorite things in cinema ever. It makes those films that much more immersive. And mild spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer yet. This is a cast of only 3, smallest cast of the year pretty much. Valeria Karaman, I hope I'm saying that right. She was good in her small little role she had, so I didn't want to leave her out. I vividly remember someone walking out of the theater yesterday, just before it ended, by the way. It's definitely not a movie for everybody, but I saw this review on Rotten Tomatoes that actually I looked at for a second. I was like, are you serious right now? I'm not going to name any names. It was just someone that said, it makes you feel like you're going to go insane. Well, yeah, it's supposed to. It's like saying, well, Sin City, that looks like it looks like a comic book. Duh, it's supposed to look like a comic book. This is supposed to make you feel like you're going nuts. It's about 2 people going nuts. And if you've seen the movie, I really wish I could talk about spoilers here, because I could drive home this point. Just like in Joker, this is, in my eyes, as realistic of a spiral into madness as I could have ever imagined. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I really did believe these people were just losing their shat, like gradually. So, props. Major props. And one last thing I'll say before I give a grade, mild spoilers. When coming out of this movie, if you're confused to the point of not liking the movie, especially when thinking of one character in particular, maybe you research some Greek mythology, and you might be like, oh, because that was me. I remember researching for this review. I think I was watching a video, and I was like, oh, damn, that makes a lot more sense. And it adds a certain layer to the movie where you're like, that's awesome. That is surprisingly genius. So, The Lighthouse, directed by Robert Eggers. Upon first viewing, I can safely say I think I was more unsettled than when I watched The Witch. I think this is also just a little bit better than The Witch. I don't really have many problems with it. I just think my weird perception of the pacing and the way the movie was structured, I think just holds me back a little bit. But the performances, the sounds, the location, the music, the shots, the aspect ratio even, the choice to have it in black and white, everything just kind of came together. And I think I've changed my opinion for the better of this movie since I waited a day to review it. I'm going to give The Lighthouse an A. So you'll probably hear a lot of people say that this movie's not for everybody. Really can't stress that enough. I have a couple of people that I know that would just hate it. So if you just watch the trailer, and if it looks to you like just an unpleasant mind-melting fest, probably don't go see it. And that brings me to the end of my review for The Lighthouse on the Graphic Loop channel. Please consider hitting that like and subscribe and all that usual stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, you wonderful people.